and I'm so glad you all are here. This is amazing, more than I could have ever imagined. This is my first time sharing with the group about what I've been doing. And I will, 2 disclaimers. First one is, I did not plan on coordinating my presentation with my outfit today. That was totally by chance. I just love the colors, apparently. Second is that I don't have a background or any sort of training in marketing. No school. It was just kind of fell in my lap. I'm creative. I love doing it, and I have the passion for it. So that's what's really helped me along in discovering how to do this. So I'll probably focus mostly on pieces that have worked for me and what I've done. A lot of it's pretty heavy on social media. That's like the primary way to market yourself these days, but I'll incorporate other things we're doing as well.
Quick question, will you be able to email your presentation out
Yep.
after?
Yes, and I've got an email list.
Oh, we've got a sign-up sheet.
Okay, perfect. So I'll do the slides, and I also have a ton of websites that go along with what I'm going to talk about that I can share with you. They're really helpful. They go into so much more detail than I will, and even researching for this, I went down the rabbit hole pretty quickly. So you can get overwhelmed, so I just wanted to share some information with you here, but also send you home with deeper information that can really guide you along and guide you down that rabbit hole. So as Sherry stated, I'm with Connected Communities, and we are a nonprofit locally based here in Gloucester, and it's myself and one other person. And we started about 1.5 years ago with the goal to bring resources to our community for personal and professional development. So we do mostly trainings and workshops for groups based on both of those topics. So we've done leadership, conflict management, caregiving. We have a Women's Day that we focus on annually, and then we'll do fundraisers. Our biggest one is a school supply drive that we do for the kids. We do school supplies, backpacks, haircuts, and whatnot. So, and we're also going to branch out to do some one-on-one coaching for people, and then also connecting individuals or groups with other individuals that can offer what we can't. So it's kind of this whole big resource circle. Okay. And I want this to be interactive. So if you have questions or any thoughts, comments, don't hesitate to stop me and we'll pause and keep going. Okay. So this is my marketing pie. These are the 5 pieces I focus on when I'm thinking about marketing. And I think we all hopefully understand marketing is the idea that we all have a product or service that we want to generate interest with the public and then in turn create profit or whatnot for ourselves. Whether that's a nonprofit or home-based business, boutique, we all have something we want to share with the public and get it back to us. Product, service that we want to offer, what we want to say, who we want to say it to, how to get it out, and then also what is our cost and budget for our marketing. So I can't not mention branding. Does everybody understand branding and what that concept is?
Doesn't that have to do with like patents and brand names?
Not necessarily. So it's a confusing word in my opinion. Branding is essentially your image, so your logo. And it says here, HubSpot.com had a good explanation. It's your identity and what your brand says to the public. So you want to create a logo, your website, all your marketing should fall in line with your brand. It speaks to the public about who you are as a business or an individual.
Can I interject just a second?
Yeah.
They say the 2 companies that have the best branding is number 1, Chick-fil-A. When you mention chicken or chicken sandwiches, everyone knows the logo.
Right.
They
had to go check
That was
that out.
perfect, thank you so much, I didn't notice that. And of course, everybody knows Amazon, and you're Amazon now. And it's that type of thing that when people
see the
hear your
logo,
name, it's like, I know what you do, that type of thing.
Or if you see like the Nike swoosh,
Right.
you know that's Nike. So it's that you are connected to that image. So it's kind of hard to develop, but really it's just visually how you want to make your public feel about you and whatnot. So, so for my brand, our brand for Connected Communities, that's the logo I've evolved to. And that font and title for that goes on everything that we put out. It's business card, flyers, website, everything. So this is my goal with how I want it to come across. I hope that that's it. And once you see the website and everything we put out, it should have that feeling with it. So it's consistent. I'd love your feedback. So, but yeah, my goal is that everybody sees that logo, they know, at least locally, and then eventually nationally, right? We want to get that. They'll know that that's Connected Communities. Okay, so before I move on to creation of marketing, I want to mention a marketing plan. I'm not familiar with this, so I'm not going to talk too much to you about it. I actually learned about it in my research for today, and apparently it's something we should all have. Does anybody know what a marketing plan is besides Sherry? Yeah. No, okay. And please add to this if you want. I don't. So I have links for this that go into what a marketing plan should include, and they say that you can make it as detailed or not as detailed as you'd like. But essentially, it lays your marketing path, and it should include an introduction, a mission statement, or a vision statement. There should be an analysis of your industry, including your competitors, and then how your business fits into it. There should be a target market that you want to reach, your marketing strategy, marketing tactics, a budget and action plan, and then your metrics for how you're going to measure your results for your marketing. So that's what I learned, and I'm going to go home and work on that after today. So, Sherry, anything more?
No, that's really true. I guess I've done a marketing plan for years and years, and it's really simple. Hello. You all, you just determine, what's your budget going to be for, this calendar year or whatever, and then what are your markets? What do you plan to do? What's most important to you? Is it a new website? Is it going to trade shows? Is it going to special events? Is it direct mail? There's a whole host of things, but it's up to each individual to determine what's going to give you the most gains and the most impact on the bottom line.
Okay, so now the fun stuff. Creation of your marketing. So these are essentially the 6 points I consider, or actually, I don't consider, I do them every time I'm creating something. It's the how I'm going to create it, whether, and that is what I'm going to use to make that. So my main go-to that I use for everything when I create anything is, it's a website called canva.com, and they have a free service, which is excellent. I pay $13 a month for their upgraded version, and you get so many more features to it. But when we're
How is that spelled?
Canva, it's canva.com.
UA?
V. CANVA. I should have put on a screen. but they have everything you need, in my opinion, right there. You can upload your own images. So I've designed things in other programs, saved them, and then uploaded them in, and then used them in whatever I'm creating. I've made our business cards through that, all of our flyers, logos, and images for our website. They also have an amazing library of resources, so information about anything you need to do with marketing. They also have a printing service, which I haven't used yet, but they have it available. You can export it, anything you design, into any kind of format you need, JPEG, GIF, PDF. I've actually just recently created an animation, which I exported as a video and then uploaded that onto Facebook. So it's really, really neat. It's my biggest go-to tool. I love it. Let's see, here we are. I've also done things in Word, and then obviously there's Adobe, but I have not used Adobe because of the cost. So I think we're all trying to keep that low for the meantime. So let's see, I've got my notes here, apologize. The other thing I do when I create is I follow a checklist. So when I go into creating for an event, I have a checklist of all of the different formats that I need to create or variations of this design. And I go through my whole checklist. So I create probably 5 different things for each event. And then going back to branding, I kind of do like a sub-branding for each event. It all has, each event has its own look and feel. And I keep that consistent throughout the entire marketing campaign. The biggest thing is, I'm relatively creative, like I mentioned, but there's no need to reinvent the wheel every time. You can get so overwhelmed. So if you're not creative, or if you are, look for inspiration. I do it all the time. And Canva has a great library of pre-made layouts, formats, font combinations, pre-made flyers. So I'll scroll through that, find something I like, take it, and then customize it to fit my needs. Or if I'm really feeling crazy, I'll start from scratch, depending on what the topic is. So, and then when we're done today, we can always, if we can connect to the Wi-Fi, I can open up Canva and show you all just a little demo to see how I use it and whatnot. Okay. So that's how. Who is obviously the audience. I also tailor my marketing to who it's going to. And I always think about those without social media. How am I going to reach them? So we have a newspaper. There's a cost associated with taking an ad in the paper. It can be somewhat expensive, and based on color, about black and white. I think mostly they do black and white, but still try to keep that small, just to get those bullet points about your event or product out. Let's see. And then flyers. And I've got some examples that I can pass around in here in a bit. We put those out at businesses, the library. Sometimes people have post boards that you can post up what you're marketing or whatever you're talking about there. So I'll keep in mind about a flyer and those print variations. And then an email blast. Those who are on our email list, how am I going to reach them with that? And then the biggest audience is social media, which, you love it or you hate it, but the truth is that's the primary way to get information out and the biggest reach. But the other thought is other fellow business owners. So a good example is Courthouse Restaurant. They have tabletops that you can do your business card or service, whatever you're offering, and they're restricted to a certain size. So think about that as well. And then that's all I've got there. So what do you want
I have a
to?
question about flyers.
Yes.
Do you find that, do you get enough return on your investment from flyers? Because you're talking about money and printing.
Yeah, we do actually.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Repeat.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I've got a microphone I have to speak into. The question was if we find we get enough return on our paper flyers. And we do. So we've got a good connection as well with Faith-Based Community. And we'll put flyers out through them. And they'll put them on their communication boards. Like I said, the colleges and some of the smaller shops here in town will have communication boards. You can put those out. For me, it's really, so for instance I designed this in Canva, and then I go to Office Supply and have them print however many. I don't do a ton. I'll do probably 20, 30 at a time. And it seems to be pretty good so far. I think it's a good investment. So I'm spending $13 a month for Canva, and then whatever the printing costs associated. It's like 50 cents or 60 cents a color copy. So it just, whatever your needs are, however you see it. And I'll talk later about tracking your return. Number 4, our message, what we want to say about our what and to who. And with that, I look at what I personally like to do, and that's read fast. I'm a skimmer. So on social media, with our thumbs, I'm scrolling. If it doesn't catch my attention, I don't really look at it. So I like to look at my message as what can I say or put out there that will grab somebody's attention within 10 to 20 seconds. And that sounds really small, but really it's not. So I try to keep it in that time frame. And then the delivery of how you're going to get it out there. Again, just what platform you're going to use, whether it's a print, flyer, email, social media, or word of mouth, or other businesses. And then the fun part is designing. So, well, I think it's the fun part. So I'm going to ask who in the room here considers themselves creative and likes to do design. Okay, so pretty small. Okay. So fear not those that don't see themselves that way. You can still do it. So my biggest thought on design is how you feel about it is how your audience will feel about it. It doesn't matter if you put 2 words out there and a little picture, or just a picture or a statement. Feel good about what you're putting out there, because that will come through. And if your audience thinks it's boring or not fun, they aren't going to have any interest. So when designing, fonts play a big role, words or images. I think to incorporate both. Say something little and a picture. The picture will grab their attention. And then your colors. And colors are pretty important because there is psychology attached to them. So I've got some links about color psychology that I'll share, as well as fonts. So font pairing. You want your font and color to be appropriate for what your message is. And so for instance, our school supply drive, I had a little bit more fun with the font because it is for students, and then brighter colors, so I'll pass these around. Always make sure it's easy to read. So I've got our flyer, the list that went with it. And then this went on our website, as well as some just quick little blasts in the email, and I don't remember how else that went out, but. And then also I create a smaller version, and this also goes on our website. So it's just got different variations, and like I said, it's got its own brand or feel to it. And then here's another set to go around that side. I wanted to look at that. Another one that, this was for professionals. This was the path through conflict. This was all based on conflict management. So I wanted to keep it kind of thought-provoking with the mountains. You know, it's traveling through conflict. It's a challenge, but you can get out, you know, through the other side. And then I had some fun with the fonts to keep it interesting. The printer didn't print that one as well, so I apologize if it's hard to look at. But then, again, the smaller version. And then also, with my agenda, I kept the agenda, and I always do, consistent with what the theme or branding is.
And do you want to shoot some of these with it?
Sorry, but it happens all the time. There's napkins, plates.
Everyone's pretty much taking it out right now.
You can eat it now or you can eat it later. Take it with you.
That's all right.
And something else I'll mention, when you're in that creation process, you don't always have to create something new. I reuse a lot of my designs. So for our Women's Day that we do annually, this is this year's design, but I literally just kept the same layout, same wording. I just changed the background, the fonts up a little bit, and then obviously the details. So if you find something that really works for you, keep reusing it and redo it. It saves you a lot of time and stress. So, and I do that for the school supply drive. Same exact as last year, just the details are different to reflect the year and whatever we're doing for that current event.
I saw that wine festival. Did you sponsor that? Was that an ad? Because I don't follow you. I don't think.
No, we were a vendor.
I bought your t-shirt.
I knew I recognized you. I was like, that's right. Okay, this is fantastic. Good. I knew it's so when we're not dressed like how when we meet each other, it's hard to place.
Yeah, I was making all the connections too. I was like, okay.
So this is for this year's Women's Day. I'll pass that around, but you can see I've got actually a ticket with this one that's consistent with the branding, a small flyer, large flyer, and then our save the date. So that way when people see it, they connect no matter what they're seeing it as.
Candace, you may have said, did you do all of these on Canva?
Yes.
They're really
And I even
beautiful.
did the presentation. I mean, it's like a one-stop shop. I cannot get enough of Canva. Like, it's so worth the money for this. They have different tiers. I'm on the second tier, so it's free, and then my tier, and then some others above it.
Do you use Publisher at all?
No, at work I do just very little. I don't know why. I just don't. But and I.
In the back, it's very crisp, it's very vivid.
Yeah, it's very, very clean, and also it's online, so it's cloud-based. So if your computer crashes, you are still safe and protected. I can access it from anywhere. It even has a mobile app. So on my phone, I can download what I've designed, quickly upload it to wherever, email. It's a lifesaver. I really love it. So when I mentioned images or words, you'll see that I will have both, but these are Facebook posts, and in my image I've incorporated words, and this is all designed in Canva. And then the t-shirt one as well is a Canva design. And then, so even the t-shirt design or this, you don't have to put anything with it on your post. It still is, there's still a message, but I like to still mention something about what you're posting. Gives them a little bit more information, makes it personal. And then the middle one is just a picture from my phone and my words about it, and there you go. So, yeah. Whoops, let me back up a bit, I'm sorry. So, designing, back to design. Sorry, I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit, but also when you're incorporating fonts, the rule, I guess, is no more than 3. You don't wanna get too busy. I still will only keep, I'll keep 2 to 3. And like I said, Canva has great font pairing suggestions. And then I have some websites that go through hundreds of font pairings. It's crazy how much is out there, but it gives you a really good idea. And like I said too, keep it appropriate. So you don't want to have cursive if you're, I don't know, talking about, I think everybody in the room could have fun with their fonts, but certain messages you want to keep away from certain fonts. And then colors. So there are color generators online if you struggle with color pairings and whatnot. I have weird tastes sometimes, so I question my decisions. I like this mustard yellow a lot, so not everybody loves that color. You don't want to turn your people away based on your mustard yellow or weird green color. So I also ask for feedback from friends. They're a great resource. Your office mates, whoever you're sitting next to, does this look okay? So I'll send out a color wheel or a color generator. Also color wheels, look for complementary colors, and then also Google. You know, I Google like crazy all the time for ideas, and that's honestly a good solution to most issues we have is Google it. So, okay. All right, so distribution, once you have your advert created, it's getting it out there. Your audience, obviously you want to know who your audience is. For me, it's everybody, mostly. But it does change because we're either speaking to professionals for the leadership class or the conflict class. And then we have a caregiving class we've offered. So that's going to go to caregivers specifically. And we can all be caregivers, but you want to really market that audience more. So the hospitals, the in-home care businesses and whatnot. But also we still put it out to wherever you can. I mean, you never know who you're going to reach, but you want to design with them in mind and distribute it with them in mind. Let's see, scheduling and managing is a big part of my distribution. So I'll actually create my marketing well in advance, and then I'll schedule it. So now Facebook has accommodated scheduling very well. You can create posts and schedule them to go out whenever you want. And I don't do Instagram and Twitter for the business. I don't have a need for it yet. I just don't really like Twitter and Instagram personally for my business, but I do believe that they have a scheduling feature as well. But Facebook has a really great scheduling feature. There are also other websites out there that you can coordinate and schedule all of your social media together. So Hootsuite is one of them for a cost, and you just connect all of your social media platforms, and you go to their website, create your posts and whatever, and then it sends it out to all of your platforms. and then you can schedule it. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for distributing throughout social media.
That was Hootsuite?
Hootsuite,
Like an owl.
yeah,
Is an owl noise?
yes, yeah.
What would you suggest about timing?
I've got actually some good information about timing. We'll come to that here in a few slides. And that has been a trial and error for me. So even though the web says this time is great, I haven't found it to be so true. So, but I also have a checklist that I followed for my scheduling. So I know leading up to an event, I'd like to get the information launched a month to 2 months prior. I'll do the save the date about 3 months. And then once it's live, I blast. It's just, I don't spam. You want to avoid spamming, but keep enough interest going. So I'll do like once a week or so. And then also you were mentioned website. So we use Wix.com, Wix.com. You can create a free website and then you can upgrade to get features for a cost. And I've been really happy for it. It's what they call a drag and drop. You don't have to know HTML or code. And you can really, there's a lot of flexibility on what you can do with Wix. And they also have a feature for emailing. So you can do your email blasts through them. You get 3 free a month and then you can pay for extras. So that takes a lot of coordination and planning to fit everything you need to go out with three emails a month. I usually will do, like I'll group a lot of information in one email, so I'm saving my 3. Yes.
Are you looking at me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I am sitting in the back.
Sorry.
I'm getting old, apparently. On Wix, I did mine on Wix. And
Okay.
found all that, what you said to be true, although I think your abilities are better than mine. But I got through it, and I do recommend it as well. My question about the emails, are they Wix branded emails?
Well, what do you mean is,
Well, is it, I mean, if you do a MailChimp or Constant Contact, it'll say that. And I'm
Right.
wondering what it says about Wix, just curious.
I do believe it's still, at the bottom of the website, it'll say powered by Wix.
Yeah,
I believe the email still has a mention,
something like that.
but it's pretty minor from what I remember. And I always blast my logo like right at the top. So when people open it, they're like, oh yay, connected communities. And you can do, they have layouts created, you can do your own. They make it really easy. I've been really happy with Wix. I haven't tried any other websites. I'm really fearful of switching. So I'm committed and it's for the long haul. So, but they have a lot. You can do a blog through Wix. You can do all sorts of stuff. It's a shop. We're gonna launch our t-shirts online. So we'll have an online store available soon, and that's been really great. With our subscription to Wix, I think we get 10 free items. So I've got to get kind of creative on that. But you can pay, you can add on all sorts of stuff with that subscription. So let's see. So yeah, scheduling, just it's a great way to do it. And now I have been bad. Where I get behind and I'll do it later, and then all of a sudden it's the 0 hour and I'm scrambling to get everything out, and usually I'll have my marketing created, but it's just a matter of getting it out there that gets stressful. And then the methods again is how you want to get it out: social media, print, flyer, handouts, email, and then through other businesses. And I'll make a note too, if I haven't mentioned it before, to really network and build your relationships with other business owners as you are doing today. But restaurants, we have really great restaurants here that support our businesses, and they're happy to put out our information. And also with the faith-based, we have a great relationship with them as well, and they're very supportive. So use that if you can. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Under distribution, have you had experience with the Facebook using the sponsor portion of that to
Yeah.
promote a business?
I haven't, I'm going to touch on that a little bit. I haven't used it yet. So I believe it's if you pay for,
Yeah, you pay a certain amount per day, and
yeah.
you do it for a number of days
yeah,
to build an audience, as you say, that it's, what do they call it? Well, I think they're, I don't know if they're different
Yeah,
or
it's-
not.
See, I've always
I'm not
wanted that,
really
because I've
sure.
boosted, I've never done.
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
It's a boost, but then it comes up on the page as on timelines, I think
Yeah.
it's sponsor. But, yeah, I tried it once. Some people had said that they didn't find it helpful, but I did find it. I
Right.
did find it boost the awareness of the league Facebook page. Probably about, I probably picked up in maybe over 2 weeks, maybe about 60 additional likes
Oh, good.
to the page. I thought that was pretty
Did you
good.
target your audience, or did you just put it out there?
No, I just did it as,
Because you
Facebook's
can, you can target age, range, demographics, all that, so you target the exact audience that you want.
I don't know that I went that detailed. on it,
Right.
But it seemed to, for the $30, I thought it was pretty good. I just wondered if anybody else had used that
Right.
marketing tool before.
We use it a lot at the chamber because it seems very, it's fairly cost effective and you can do $10 for 3 days and it'll push it more. The thing I like the best about sponsor, we don't do it all the time, but for big events, or if we're having the speaker come in, the thing I like the most about it is exactly Dorothy's point, how you can really dial it in and collect the metrics. So it'll show you your organic reach versus people, you can literally put your message in front of
The people you want to
individuals
see it.
that may not have seen it.
Miles at all that age.
Right,
The
but
miles, 25, 30, 50.
keywords, so, for like the Middle Peninsula Job Fair, we do
Right.
plug-ins for if you're
Someone in California
employment
seeing it.
related. And all of that, whether you do all that dialing it in or not, it's the same price. So, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's what I like about it too.
Well, I know.
I mean,
It all depends on, who you're trying to reach.
Yeah, I mean, I did find the graphics of how they did the pie charts on who it went to and how many and where it was. I thought that was very good for feedback into that. So. Okay, good to know, thanks.
And I know I have been sucked in by those sponsored ads. I'm like, ooh, that looks neat, and I'll click on it. So it obviously works well enough. So I use that. I always use myself as an example. So, Emily, you wanted to say something?
We also use it every week virtually at the visitor center. And and this can be used for anybody. We started a program where you can partner with someone in town and do a cost share advertising, where you can double your advertising dollars. So, for example, we work with a nonprofit who can only do $30. So we'll double it for the $30 for us, and then, they're getting exposure, we're getting exposure. So it's just, if you find someone with similar interests as you, you can kind of double down.
And the other thing that I think is really important, when it comes to the Facebook boosting and everything, is sharing. People, sharing each other's, like she's in the travel, nonprofit, things like that.
Yeah, Globe
It's,
Trip has
sharing.
been good for us.
Because
Yeah,
the
that's
little folder the flyer you did for the back to school, I saw that and I participated, but it's because I saw that the Silver Box had shared it.
Right.
And then Gloucester County Sheriff's Department, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I shared it, so I
Right.
think,
Yeah, I do try to do that.
we have to
Try to get
support
businesses
each
to do
other
it.
with the
Exactly,
sharing
yeah.
also.
And that also,
That's not free.
Yes, it is.
Advertising right there.
and that also plays into the new Facebook algorithm, which I'm going to go into detail on because that's a challenge for us. I roll my eyes every time I hear it. I'm like, oh, again, and they change it. So it's like you have to stay ahead of what they're doing. So then leads me then to social media. So the different platforms, Facebook, obviously, Instagram, Twitter, now LinkedIn is really big. I really have not even thought about LinkedIn for the business. I don't even know honestly how to do a business LinkedIn. I don't know. So I stay away from it. So I really, like I said, just focus on Facebook right now. Everything has their own algorithm. I really only researched the Facebook one, but you can Google. There's so much information out there about it. And then also what techniques to use with social media. The emojis and the hashtags that everybody's crazy about now. So the Facebook algorithm, it essentially ranks all of the posts available to a user based on, and then it'll show it to them based on how likely they are to have an interest. So a positive interest. So liking, commenting, sharing. And it has to be organic. That's the key. So they don't want you to encourage, hey, like this post, or comment below, or please share this post. I don't know how they discover this, but they have their little sneaky eyes on what we're posting, and then it gets flagged or whatever, how you word things. So you have to be really creative. So, I mean, I know in my Facebook, my personal Facebook, I don't see hardly, I would say I see 20% of my friends and the businesses that I like, because I interact with those posts. So a huge benefit to us is like encourage your friends verbally to like and share and comment, but also let's support each other. And when you see a fellow business owner's post come through, like it, share it, comment something to help them get visibility. Like you said, you share what you see. So yeah, like I said, there are signals that Facebook has that tells what the post is that you're posting. And then it predicts how your audience will react to it. And then it gives it a score, a final score, and then that's how it shows, based on the score, it shows your audience. It's very scientific. But they don't want to divulge everything because then we'll crack the code. So there are certain ways. I know. I don't want to scare you, but you know, honestly, like,
We know you're sitting there trying to crack it every day.
I know.
I very well if I can make it.
But you know, honestly, you know, when I was researching this, it really is scary, and it's like it's a threat to us as a small home-based business. And don't let it scare you. Honestly, keep it in your mind, and then just do the best you can. And then hopefully, you know, if you're passionate and you love what you're doing, that will eventually get out to who you need it to get to.
And you're a nonprofit, so you have a little bit different take, but if you're a for-profit, you're selling something, you have to remember too, when you're doing Facebook posts, it's the rule of thirds. You just can't always be pushing what you have for sale. So I try to just share general information, different articles, about travel-related articles. The other second, third would be, you know, a destination or a special that may be out, so you're actually putting out there what I'm in business for. And then a third is kind of interaction with maybe a poll or a question or something like that. So I think that's real important for the non-nonprofits to remember the rule of thirds, especially with Facebook.
And we still do the same, because when we do events, there is a cost to us, so we do need to get that back. We don't make money, but we want to definitely break even. So we do the same thing to beat that algorithm, to get ourselves out there. And like you said, these are in my research, how you can work it to your benefit. So be a conversation starter. And that is asking questions and creating polls, or like you said, posting destination articles or whatnot that gets people thinking and maybe talking or commenting like, oh, this looks fantastic for fall or whatever. So try to start a conversation. Just think about what would you be interested in commenting on or liking. Focus on your audience. So doing giveaways if you can. Let's see some other ideas. Ask them what they like. So for your cowboy boots, you could post 2 pictures of one pair and another pair and ask them, what do you like better? Or something, get interest about your product and get them engaged and ask them, to respond to whatever, give them options. Same thing with the travel or, so your boutique, you could post, I don't know if you wanted to do a giveaway, or say, like 10% off, or.
I did a $25 gift certificate to the store, named the mannequin. We did a
Right.
mannequin contest.
Yeah, you
And
can.
that brought in a lot of traffic into the site and into the store.
Yeah, you can get really creative and have fun with it.
Who wore it better contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just as an ad, I do the social, my sister is an Italian restaurant and we grew up in Italian restaurants. And the most successful, I was doing the social media for her restaurant, the most successful post we ever had, and it went just about viral. I mean, it was like 100, not 100 as viral as I've been a part of, was a picture of my dad over a pot of sauce, stirring the sauce, and this was up in the Northeast, and I said, okay, like, the age-old question, you see that delicious, like, whatever that he's stirring, is it sauce or is it gravy? Which is, the Philly, New York, New Jersey, like, thing, and people went crazy, so we were doing, like, hashtag team gravy, hashtag team hot sauce.
Right.
And back and forth, and it was, people were sharing it and tagging their friends, and it was like, just a picture of my dad stirring sauce, but it was really, so I think if you could tap into something like that of interest, benign, but of interest, it was.
Sure.
More fun, yeah.
Right. Well, and like the latest, what was it, Popeye's chicken sandwich went bonkers. Like,
Chick-fil-A hands down.
yeah, I mean, that went, and they didn't do anything. It was literally social media created the frenzy. They didn't have to do anything for it.
I went back through and looked at the posts that I've done recently, and I haven't told my son this yet, but the one that had the most interaction, and I wasn't asking for business, it was a picture of my son on the beach in the Caribbean, and a girl happened to be there with her bathing suit on, and she had a mermaid bottom. And she was sitting on the beach, so I said, Luke was embarrassed, of course. I was like, hey, Luke, can we get your picture? So she said, yeah. So I have a picture of Luke and this really pretty girl with her mermaid bottom. And I don't even remember what I said in the post, but, I can say, mermaids exist, and we've got proof, and Luke's seen one. Have you seen one in your travels or whatever? I wasn't asking anybody to buy anything. It was just to get brand awareness out there, and it had the most interaction and the most following.
Yeah, and that's key, is not always pushing a sale.
Right.
Or your product. Make them feel like you have an interest in them, and and then sprinkle in your product or service. Yes.
On something you said earlier, I want to see if I understood it correctly, about the post must be organic, about this algorithm.
Right.
And so if you put in there, share this post, then that takes that away, right?
It does.
But here's my question, second part. Is it a real thing that if I see share this post and be entered for a chance to win, is that legit? Like, is that really a metric type of thing that the Facebook page owner can really track?
I I believe so. They have a whole analytics section on the back end, and we can go to it later. I can show you ours, and you can break it down by post, and it shows all your reactions and interactions specific to the post. So if you can see how it's performing compared to all the others. So for that one, you can see if that really worked for you or not.
And who literally shared it though, so I can go back and award.
Oh, now you can't see who shared it. I think
Yeah,
you can see.
yeah,
Yes,
you can click on
you can
that.
see who shared it.
Right.
You can see it
Right.
Yeah, you can see
Because it
who.
shows you on the post how many times that post has been shared.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can click where it says however many shares, and it'll open up who has shared it.
Okay, but you're saying. I don't know if you can.
But then encouraging them to comment might get flagged by Facebook as not being organic. So that was something I did find in my research was that's considered clickbait.
Right.
So avoiding clickbait, which is like this post, share this post.
Change the like thing, just the thumbs up.
Yeah, you could look maybe the little thumbs up.
That's
emoji.
considered, it has to be the heart or higher. You can't, the thumbs up doesn't work for organic on people liking your post.
Yeah, there's a whole study on the emojis and the top most used emojis and the reactions. So, I think
They just recently, that algorithm just changed like within the
it was brought up earlier about the sponsored and boost. So it was suggested to invest what has interest. So you can do your posts and then track its analytics and what's really performing well. Then you can choose to put money into and boost it. And then that's considered like organic. And that will help you with that algorithm. Avoid clickbait. Timing, and I'll go over some times in the next slide. Timing your posts to release at certain times of days works with you or against you or not at all. And then a big item that they were talking about was video content. Apparently, videos are huge. And if you've noticed in the last, I don't know how many months it was, but I noticed pages that were posting just a graphic now have posted the same graphic or similar as a video, because that helps them beat the algorithm. So if it's viewed for a certain amount of seconds, then it boosts you up on people's timelines and whatnot. So that's why I started doing our recent post for the Wine Fest was a video, technically, because it was an animated graphic that I exported as a video, uploaded it to Facebook as a repeating video. So it's really only about 3 seconds long, the animation, but I have it on loop so that it plays over and over and over. And then lastly is tracking your content performance just to see how it's working for you, and then adjusting. So the time frames, they say that the best day and time is a Wednesday between 11 and 1 p.m. So I'm guessing people are like bored at work, like, oh, it's only Wednesday, and they're scrolling. So, yeah, the lunchtime, people seem to be on their phones. And then the most engagement, again, was weekdays, or I'm sorry, not weekdays. It was, yes, weekdays 9 to 3. So people at work. But you figure, we have our breaks and whatnot. So the worst day to me was kind of a surprise was Sunday. So people are taking a break from their phones on Sunday, which is kind of good to know that we are taking breaks. The least engagement was before 7 a.m. and after 5. So I will try to schedule my post-release releases within that. I don't always remember, and I get excited, and I'll put that baby out, and I'm like, oh shoot, that was a bad time of day. But then you can also just repost that same post or change, do the same kind of idea, but just change up a little bit your wording. but with the same image. So you're not stuck, you're not committing yourself to that one. You can just repeat it. So yeah, I always think of when I'm looking at my phone the most. Sometimes it is before 7, before work. I wake up and do, but yes.
Going back to creating more video,
Yeah.
does Canva provide like changing from a PDF format to a GIF format? Is that an easy transition or?
I don't know, actually. I've only recently used their, they have a new animated graphics and
So you
images
just kind of
section.
upload it and then they do the animation for you?
Yeah, it's already animated.
Oh, okay.
So the one I did was leading up to the wine festival. I just said, I have it actually in here. I just said, see you Saturday. And Saturday was actually animated and the letters jumped. So I exported that as a video.
So did you say you wanted Saturday to be animated and you chose animations? Or you chose
How did you get it?
Canva already had it pre-animated, but
Word Saturday, or can
Right.
you animate any word?
you can actually animate any word. They do have a feature where you can create an animated graphic, so it can like expand or do things. I've only used that a few times, but they do have a whole animated graphics section, and there is hundreds, if not thousands, of animated graphics that you can use that are already animated, no thinking. You just put it on your layout. When you're done, export it as a video, and it's done. So it took some trial and error to just figure out how it worked, but once I did, it's pretty easy. So. All right, the next fun little thing are emojis, which I'm just getting on board with. I do them in my personal life all the time, but professionally it's like, it's when you're trying to be professional, it's hard to get used to that transition. But as you can see this statement here, it's the fastest growing form of language in history. So we are, as a society, using them to communicate.
Scary.
So,
Don't have to spell, you don't have to type.
but
If it makes you feel any better, I sell almost 100 emoji-shaped cookies every time I'm at the market.
exactly,
And they are not
yeah.
all children. There's a lady who buys
Right.
them as favors for her bridge club.
Yes, people love emojis. So,
I mean, it's a good little cookie, but this is ridiculous.
yeah. So there are, you definitely, my word of advice is if you're not comfortable with it or you don't know what it means, don't use it because that is so dangerous. And I have links I will be happy to share to websites that go over all the emojis, all of their meanings.
Like it or lump it.
Exactly, yeah. So
No, we use smiley faces mostly.
they do say like the highest rated emoji are the happy or the love face with the heart eyes.
Cookies too?
Yeah.
Those sell more.
So they're all positive. The positive emotion emojis. I don't have the heart. I can't remember the other 3, but so definitely research before you blast it out. But I mean, you're pretty safe with a heart or. But you can see that the statistics are pretty high. So on Facebook, you're likely to get 57% more likes, which is pretty high engagement for an emoji. And then 33% more comments and shares. And then you can see, so Twitter is probably the lowest of the 3. Instagram is 50%. Of all the comments and captions contain emojis. So they're very popular. It's kind of hard not to.
And what are you saying to do with them exactly?
So I have examples. You can use them in your posts. So Gloucester Main Street does a fantastic job of using them in their posts. So the one about Scoot's Barbecue with winning the barbecue bracket, they use a heart and the pig face. So you just incorporate them into whatever you're talking about. Same thing with Blues and Brews. They use the beer mug. And then I love the use of the little down finger, encouraging people to move, do down, go to this link here. I love that. And then the hearts. So it's just like another word. Just incorporate as another word. I've used it on our school supply posts. I used the school supplies sprinkled in. I guess it just catches people's attention, and then makes them stop and look at your posts, and they get excited about your heart, so they like it. So, right? Yeah, they love it.
It is like cozy though. Like there's something
It is.
warm about it that just kind of brings you in and makes you feel a little better or something about it. So I definitely think
Right.
there's a reaction there.
Oh, and it's the way that we're communicating now. We're so separated with our phones and everything. I think the emoji does make it a little bit more personal, and you know how you feel when you see a heart. You know how you feel when you love. So it kind of is a way to connect to that other person or that post when you see a heart, like, oh, I love that. Like, you know what that feels like. So it's just a new way of engagement. So the next are hashtags. And I'm so thrilled that actually most social platforms now incorporate hashtag search features. Before it was just Twitter was the first platform to really utilize that. And then now you can easily search on Instagram or Facebook your hashtag, and then it pulls. So in the search bar, if you're searching for a business or a person, you just put the hashtag in that bar, and it brings up all the posts that contain that hashtag. So you can use it to your benefit to advertise. And then obviously people like using them, so they're thrilled to use a hashtag in their posts. And then I kind of see it as free advertising. I was using the Gloucester Wine Fest one pretty heavily in my Wine Fest posts. But it does get your content out there. So if I've got links I'll share about it's a hashtag search. So what is a trending hashtag or a popular hashtag? You can snag them. I don't think they're trademarked. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you can just really oh, I like that, let me use it too. So don't be shy. If you see one you like and it ties into your brand or to your product or service, snag it. And then you can also create your own. So I've done that. Well, it's not like I didn't make up the word connected, but I've done hashtag connected for our material. So encourage others to use it, and then that gets you out there, and it can amplify and complement your brand. You can also use it to target your market. So if you wanted to you can use a hashtag that's specific to a group of people that might have a hashtag connected to them. I don't know anybody offhand, but
The consortia that I'm a part of is national. It's called Signature Travel Network, and they have a new one, and it's hashtag Travel Matters. So you'll see that a lot across the way, hashtag Travel Matters.
good example, yeah. So, and you can, I always like to search ahead of time a hashtag I'm considering using, because you want to know what it is connected to. Again, what does this mean? So, and then I've got, here you can search online what your hashtag on Facebook, but also, like I said, in the search bar on Facebook, you can do the hashtag and it pulls up everything. So then I've got some examples of the hashtags I used. So you can see it in the post. All I do is you just tack it on the end, but sometimes people can incorporate them in the actual sentence. So I just used the hashtag Glow Wine Fest, which was Gloucester Wine Fest, and then the connecting. And then again with the Glow Wine Fest, this was the animation I made. It's not moving because it's just a screenshot, but essentially these letters just bounced up and down. So All right, so the last topic is tracking on social media, your website, sales, and then again, I'll hit the bottom, but the reevaluate and repeat. So social media has a great way now to track your analytics, or they've got analytics on the back end. You can look at how your posts are performing, and there's a lot of good information on that end. I really like it. Some of it's kind of depressing because, like, oh, I love that post, but only got 2 likes. Like but it gives you a good idea of what you're doing and what people like.
And how do you go about achieving that?
So on the back end of your Facebook, well, I shouldn't say back end, but there is a section on your page, and it says, what does it say? It might say analytics.
Insight.
What? Or insights, yes. And then in that, it's got all sorts of different tabs you can go through, and you can even drill down to the specific post. And then it looks at the demographic you're reaching, if you've set parameters for a demographic. It's pretty robust. I usually just look at as a whole and then what my posts are doing, how they're performing. And I can show you that as well.
Click on how many people it reached. And then when you click on it,
Yeah.
you go to insights on that. Oh, clever.
Another good tool is website tracking. So Wix has a little module that and it tracks all your website visitors, where they're clicking, how they're coming in, and I find that really useful. So after the wine festival, when I passed out our business cards, we had a really big influx of visitors. They came in, so you can see, you have to put 2 and 2 together, but if you do a big advertisement or distribution of marketing, then go to your website and track how many visitors you're getting, and you can see if that helped you at all or didn't, but I think that's really valuable. And then also seeing how it coincides with your sales. We don't sell anything, well, we have our shirts, so that'll eventually be something we look at, but those that sell a product or a service, is there an influx in your sales because of it? And don't hesitate to ask your customers how you heard about you. You know, how did you hear about this, or what brought you in, or how did you know? And they'll tell you. That's a good way to track it, just asking. So once you do that, yeah, you can reevaluate your methods and then do it all over again. Yay! So my last little bit of advice is to follow your excitement and let your passion show, and have fun with it. Don't get too stressed. I know it is stressful, but you can get burnt out so easily with stress. And if you do get stressed and overwhelmed, just step away from it and revisit. I mean, there'll be days I spend hours on a flyer and I'm seeing double and it just looks weird. So you have to take a break, come back and look in, looks fresh and new. So I think everybody in this room is very passionate about what they're doing, and so you're already on the right foot with that. So don't lose that passion. And then, like I said earlier, is how you feel about it is how your audience will feel about it. So be excited, be happy, and love what you do. So
Thank you.
that's it. Thank you all so much. I think we're right at 1:30. So I'm happy to stay a little bit after and show anybody who wants to see Canva or anything I've talked about. Yes.
You said you had a list of links.
Did everyone have an opportunity?
Yes. So I'll email them out because